Canada is absolutely furious, and it's taking the dagger and it's sticking it right into Donald Trump's chest. The Canadian premiers, the Canadian people, Prime Minister Carney, by and large, are united, punching back hard at Donald Trump and his despicable regime. Just take a look at what the Trump regime has been saying about Canada in the past 48 hours. When Donald Trump was at the Melania movie premiere that nobody wants to see, Donald Trump said that if Canada enters into a trade deal with China, they're going to take ice hockey away. Trump says it's a really bad deal for Canada. They're going to take ice hockey away. The hell are you even talking about? And that follows Donald Trump saying that if Canada enters into the trade deal with China, he's going to tariff Canada 100% after Trump said he already was okay with the trade deal. Donald Trump just wakes up and gets jealous of Prime Minister Carney because Carney gave the best speech at Davos while Donald Trump ranted and raved like a lunatic about invading Greenland, which he called Iceland. Also, in the past 48 hours, the Trump regime, through its ambassador to Canada, said that if Canada does not buy F-35s from the United States, then the United States is going to pull out of the NORAD defense agreements, and the United States will, whenever it wants to, fly F-35 jets over Canada to intimidate and harass the people if Canada doesn't buy F-35s from the United States. That, folks, is what we would call the definition of extortion. You see, Prime Minister Carney is now undergoing a thorough review of any future purchases of American military equipment, specifically the F-35 fighter jets, because they're seeing what happened in Denmark. Denmark bought the F-35s, but when you buy the F-35s, you become very reliant on the United States Defense Department and United States, the military establishment of the United States, for all of the repairs and the maintenance. And so if the Trump regime just wants to shut you off, you are left with no F-35. So Canada, like other countries, are looking to Sweden, where Saab makes this Gripen, this other plane that's more reliable, and they're willing to work with Canada to make it in Canada. So the Trump regime is saying, you buy planes from Sweden, we're going to fly our F-35s over Canada whenever we please. And then, of course, to add insult to injury, and the worst yet, the Trump regime has been having secret conversations with fringe extremist separatist groups in Alberta to try to encourage the people of the Alberta province to secede. Now, we know that in Alberta, they have a Maple MAGA premier by the name of Danielle Smith, and the Trump regime has directed these efforts basically the same way Putin does to Donbass in order to try to get Alberta to secede and to take it over and annex it for the United States. A Putin tactic right there. So let me tell you what went down in the past 24 hours. So there was another First Minister meeting. That's where all the premiers of the provinces of Canada meet together at the First Minister meeting. It took place in Ottawa. Prime Minister Carney leads the meeting. There are private discussions that take place. And then there is the public forum where the premiers answer questions from the press. The thing that's so notable to me, someone who lives in the United States, is by and large the unity of these premiers. Yes, they have their differences, but they by and large come together, other than really Danielle Smith. But I'll show you what she said when she was under pressure and under the eyes of the media and the camera. But these premiers by and large come together, whether you're from British Columbia, Manitoba, whether you're from Ontario, they've come together and with the Prime Minister Carney and expressed this great degree of unity. And it was really encouraging to see this, as an American, to see the strength and unity of a country like Canada, which basically is leading the free world right now. So let me show you what went down at this meeting with the premiers. Here's Prime Minister Carney, and here he responds to this question about the Trump regime engaged in surreptitious secession talks with these fringe groups. Here's what Carney says, very kind of matter-of-factly. Let's play this clip.
We expect the U.S. administration to respect Canadian sovereignty. I'm always clear in my conversation with President Trump to that effect, and then move on to what we can do together. Thank you.
Then Prime Minister Carney says, look, Donald Trump says a lot of crazy things, and he does a lot of crazy things. We're Canada strong. I'm not going to do a running response to all of the insane things that Donald Trump says. But let me be very clear of my bright line. Canada's sovereignty. Don't you dare threaten Canadian sovereignty. Watch Prime Minister Carney.
I don't have a running commentary on everything the administration does. I stand by what I just said about respecting our sovereignty, our expectations of the U.S. administration, and the clarity with which I've always expressed that directly to the president.
Then you had David Eby of the NDP party. He's the premier of British Columbia. Watch what he had to say. And he said, if you're coming into our borders, if you're coming into our country and you're trying to force our provinces and our territories to secede, you are treasonous. And we should be treating the Trump regime like they're treasonous traitors, and that's how they should be held. Enough is enough. Premier David Eby was not mincing words. Play this clip.
This is a country my grandparents fought for, that many people before them helped to build. It's made up of First Nations who have been here since time immemorial, as well as immigrants who just got off the airplane today with hearts full of hope of their new adopted country. This is a country we have to fight for. And there are lots of people who would like to take it from us. We need to express in this moment, especially when the country faces such a profound threat, we need to express that we will fight for this country, that we'll stand up for it, and that those who don't wish to, those who would solicit a foreign government to try to come in and take over our country or break it up, that's not part of our vision for Canada. That's not Canadian conduct. And in fact, that is, I described it as an old-fashioned word because we haven't had to use it for a long time. In my opinion, that is treasonous activity, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped. Now, I'm not talking about debates that we have inside the country among Canadians about how we order ourselves, our relationships between the federal government and the provinces, referenda that might be held. I'm talking about crossing the border, soliciting the assistance of a foreign government to break up this country, and I don't think we should stand for it.
Now I will share with you Premier Ford of Ontario. Here was what he had to say, and he was also calling out Danielle Smith, the premier of Alberta, and he's saying she needs to respond to this because these secessionists are in her province. Watch what Ford has to say. Play this clip.
You know something, I'm dead against that. You know, going behind Canada's back and negotiating is unacceptable. We're one country, and we should all be sticking together. We shouldn't have groups going around the federal government's back or the province's back to negotiate something with the U.S. We all know where President Trump stands. He wants Canada, and that's not going to happen. We'll fight with every tool we have. So I find that unacceptable.
Maybe call that treason. Do you think that's a fair word for what's happening?
I don't know about treason. It's unacceptable. It's unethical. I'm a little disappointed that they've done this. But this is an opportunity for Premier Smith to stand up and say enough is enough. And either you're with Canada or you're not with Canada. I'm with Canada right across the board.
Do you think she's stoking a separatist?
I don't know. I can't speak for Premier Smith. That'll be up to her to talk about it. But again, this is what we should be doing when there's so much uncertainty. We're under attack by President Trump. We need to be united, a united Canada. You know, I've always said, united we stand, divided we fall. So I'll make sure that we stand united.
And then the media put the pressure on Danielle Smith. And they said to Danielle Smith, how are you going to respond to Doug Ford? What do you say? You heard what Ford just said. What's your response? Address the fact that these secessionist movements are in your province. Watch what she says. Play this clip.
Well, I would expect that the U.S. administration would respect Canadian sovereignty and that they would confine their discussion about Alberta's democratic process to Albertans and to Canadians. And I will raise that with my delegate in Washington, so he can raise it with members of the administration. And I will raise it with my delegate in Ottawa, so he can raise it with the U.S. ambassador.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popak's new law firm. It's called the Popak Firm. Michael Popak's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas, Mighty, and legal AFers who were approaching Michael Popak with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popak was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popak Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popak's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopakfirm.com, thepopakfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popak a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popak. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in. Let me show you to, I think, one of these superstar premiers of Manitoba right here. Watch as he talks about the overall meeting and the unity that exists among the premiers. This is pretty impressive stuff. Watch this. Let's play it.
So just to reiterate the message of unity, and thanks for the setup also, Premier Smith. We had a great day today with the Prime Minister. We had some very specific asks on the Churchill project, a lot of exciting developments with the Major Projects Office, with a major energy company kicking the tires on that, and the possibility of getting to Asian markets via the Suez Canal is very exciting. And I want to say thanks to the Prime Minister publicly, because we had a few kind of very specific asks about moving some paperwork along, finding some resources for our Indigenous governments in Manitoba on the First Nations and Métis side to be able to participate in the Crown Indigenous Corporation that we're going to use to commercialize this thing. And I think now is a time where you're seeing creativity and you're seeing collaboration and you're seeing working together, whether it's across provinces and territories, federal, provincial, Indigenous, provincial, Indigenous, federal, municipal, everybody's working together because we love this country so much. And I love the fact that we come out here at every press conference and there's always, trying to find the divisions and trying to find the things that we're not united on. They want there to be a heated rivalry between Doug Ford and I, but we're on the same team.
I want you to
We're going into the corners together.
I want you to just take that image
for Team Canada.
The heated rivalry between Doug Ford and Wild Canoe.
And we're on the same team as well, Mr. Prime Minister. So if you want to lace up the skates, we're going up to Churchill next week, and you're more than welcome to join us as we build up this country, the true north, strong and free.
I'll just show you how the meeting was kicked off by Prime Minister Carney. Let's play this clip.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. Today marks the 11th time that First Ministers have convened and the 4th time we've met in person since last March. In a more divided and uncertain world, we choose a united, a strong, and an ambitious future for Canada.
Now, yesterday as well, I should have mentioned this in my intro, Donald Trump actually threatened Canada with another set of tariffs, in addition to the 100% tariffs, and I guess threatened to take away ice hockey from them. Ice hockey. Yes, Donald, I'm sure you know Canada. They call it ice hockey there. In addition to the 100% tariffs if Canada enters into the $1 trillion trade pact with China, which Trump said he was okay with before, Donald Trump also said that he would be putting a 50% tariff on Canadian airplanes and the Bombardier private jets and all Bombardier equipment. Here's what Donald Trump wrote yesterday on social media. Based on the fact that Canada has wrongfully, illegally, and steadfastly refused to certify the Gulfstream 500, 600, 700, 800 jets, one of the greatest, most technologically advanced airplanes ever made, we are hereby decertifying their Bombardier Global Express and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified as it should have been many years ago ago. Further, Canada is effectively prohibiting the sale of Gulfstream products in Canada through this very same certification process. If, for any reason, this situation is not immediately corrected, I'm going to charge Canada a 50% tariff on any and all aircraft sold into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And as this account writes, Donald Trump has not clarified if this will affect the U.S. Air Force's Bombardier E-11A battlefield airborne communication nodes, the BACN, or any of the U.S. Army Global 6500s, which are produced by Bombardier Defense in Canada. One of the E-11A produced by Bombardier Defense just deployed to the Middle East, part of the ongoing buildup directed at Iran. Donald Trump was asked at the Melania premiere, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, what his thoughts were about Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the UK taking a trip to China to enter into a massive trade deal with Xi Jinping the same way Canada did 4 weeks ago. Donald Trump said he was more concerned with Canada and the fact that Canadian ice hockey is going to be taken away. Play the clip.
Mr. President, what do you think about the UK getting into business with China? Keir Starmer is in Beijing.
Well, it's very dangerous for them to do that, and it's even more dangerous, I think, for Canada to get into business with China. Canada is not doing well. They're doing very poorly, and you can't look at China as the answer. I know China very well. I know President Xi's a friend of mine. I know him very well, but that's a big hurdle to go over when you get Canada. The first thing they're going to do is say you're not allowed to play ice hockey anymore. That's not good. Canada's not going to allow that.
Now, as a reminder, earlier in the week, you had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent say the following on right-wing extremist media with a guy named Jack Posobiec, where Bessent pushed for secession by Alberta. Here's what he had to say. Play this clip.
Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S. They have great resources. The Albertans are very independent people. Rumors that they may have a referendum on whether they want to stay in Canada or not.
Sounds like you may know something up there.
Look, people are saying, people are talking. People are talking.
And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also told Sean Hannity that when Prime Minister Carney called Donald Trump earlier this week, he was walking back the statements that he made in Davos, where he called out Donald Trump, and then Prime Minister Carney just said, they're liars. That's not true. Play this clip.
Let's talk about the Prime Minister, or if you prefer, Governor of Canada, and him threatening to break economic alliances with the U.S., go with China. The president has threatened 100% tariff. What impact would that have?
It would be a disaster for Canada. I was in the Oval with the president today. He spoke to Prime Minister Carney, who was very aggressively walking back some of the unfortunate remarks he made at Davos.
And here was Prime Minister Carney earlier in the week when Parliament resumed its session. And here he said that's all one big lie. Play this clip.
But to be absolutely clear, and I said this to the president, I meant what I said in Davos. It was clear, it was a broader set of issues, that Canada was the first country to understand the change in U.S. trade policy that he had initiated. And we're responding to that. We're responding positively by building partnerships abroad. We're responding positively by building at home. And we're prepared to respond positively by building that new relationship through CUSMA. He understood that, and it was a good conversation, as I say.
Now I'll share with you the leader of Meidas Canada, Charlie Angus. Here's what Charlie Angus had to say about the Trump regime's attempt to get Alberta to secede. Let's play this clip.
Well, it's pretty clear, and we've been saying this, Ben, that Donald Trump is furious that he was made to look like an absolute buffoon in Davos, and that the revenge was coming fast and quick. And like, what do you do the next day? You start raising the issue of breaking Canada apart. This is the Donbass playbook. Exactly. This has been in the works for some time. The Alberta separatists, these are not credible people. One of them is an ex-Marine. I mean, can you say AstroTurf? But what they've been doing, they've been meeting in Washington. You know, Pete Hoekstra, the ambassador to Canada, accused us of foreign interference by showing a commercial of Ronald Reagan. Well, the Alberta separatists claim that there's a $500 million slush fund on the table for them to help break up Canada. This is the play that they're going to be using against us. We have an extremist premier, Daniel Smith, who's been undermining Canada again and again. I just come back from Alberta in huge rallies in Calgary and Edmonton. People do not want this, but what they understand is it doesn't matter what the majority thinks right now. What matters is the ability of Donald Trump to create this impression so that he has an excuse, a provocation to act. That's the Vladimir Putin playbook. These are really, really dangerous times, Ben. We have to start calling this out. We have to shine a light on this. And unfortunately, our national media are being led by the nose on this. This is not a credible rallying of independence. This is about subservience to the MAGA agenda, and Canadians need to really recognize the threat that's coming at us right now.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers, and thank you everybody for watching.
New Meidas merch. Head to store.meidastouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.meidastouch.com.